Vivek Ramaswamy. Somebody explained to me why I'm not supposed to love this guy. I know that the Republican establishment and conservatives I see in media and a whole lot of other old Republican Party, what's the word I'm looking for? The wise men of the Republican Party from decades gone by. They tell me that Vivek Ramaswamy is a fraud and he's no good and he's just a. But every time I see him engage with a reporter or someone from the media or someone from a town hall who challenges him on an issue, I'm always impressed on how he deals with them. Meanwhile, those great wise men also tell me that Nikki Haley is a rising star of the Republican Party, and I ain't buying what she's selling right now. We'll show you Nikki in a minute, but watch Vivek Ramaswamy. This Washington Post reporter does this trick. They all do this, right? Will you condemn white supremacy? Which is, it's a trap question, by the way. And it's like, I know everyone's saying, well, why don't you just say what that? Here's why you don't say, yes, I'll condemn white supremacy. Because you're not a freaking puppet on a string that just responds and goes and plays fetch every time a reporter demands that you do it, right? I'm running for president. I'm at an Iowa caucus at a town hall. I'm trying to deal with people who can't put food on the table and are worried that their kids are going to be sent to Europe to fight in a war that they're not in favor of. And suddenly a reporter from DC says, but what about white supremacy? Screw you. People don't care about that. That's not an issue for the Republican caucus in Iowa right now. And Vivek Ramaswamy handled it beautifully.
You didn't say that you condemn white supremacy.
I'm not going to recite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion of modern wokeism, which actually fits the test. I'm not going to bend the knee to your religion.
Okay, and I'm going to let him finish here, but this is critically important, and I'm sorry I didn't set it up a little bit better here, because he says I'm against vicious racism, right? Now, the reporter wants him to specifically say white supremacy. Why? Because she comes from the DEI, CRT, Ibram X. Kendi, anti-racism, woke mentality, where it's not enough to just say, I'm against racism. You see, this is what Ibram X. Kendi has taught us. Oh, saying that you're not racist and you're against, that actually proves you are racist. You see, in their minds, there's only one kind of racism, and that is white supremacy, right? And anyone else in this country or really on this planet is incapable of being racist. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, who last I checked isn't white, isn't going to fall for it. And instead he says, I'm against all racism, every kind of racism, which used to be a value that America embraced. I mean, I grew up in a post-Martin Luther King era, and I was taught that all racism is wrong. Now, if you say that, you're racist. Welcome to Barack Obama's America. So Vivek Ramaswamy says specifically, well, I'm against all kinds of vicious racism, which last I checked should be enough to actually be in a pure and beautiful straight line morally in this country. But no. If you say you're against racism, that's a dog whistle that you're really racist.
Cite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion of modern wokeism, which actually fits the test. I'm not going to bend the knee to your religion. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to bend the knee to mine, and I'm not going to bend the knee to yours. But do I condemn vicious racial discrimination? Yes, I do. Am I going to play your silly game of gotcha? No, I'm not. And frankly, this is why people have lost trust. And I know you're going to go print the headline tomorrow. I already know this. We already know how your game works. Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy because you asked a stupid question. The reality is, I condemn vicious racial discrimination in this country, but the kind of vicious and systematic racial discrimination we see today is discrimination on the basis of race in a very different direction. You want to know what the best way is to end discrimination on the basis of race? Stop discriminating on the basis of race.
Thank you.
Do that, and we're going to move this country forward. And I don't care whether you're black or white or brown or anything in between. That's how we're going to unite this country. You people have been responsible for dividing this country to a breaking point, creating a projection of national division. I meet people from the south side of Chicago to meetings like this one of every shade of melanin, multiple, from man to woman, doesn't make a difference, who are hungry for reviving unity in this country. And you, with your catechism that you try to get to politicians to whatever fake headline you're going to print on the basis of this conversation tomorrow, that's what's dividing this country to a breaking point. Shame on you. Look people in the eye and tell them what you've actually failed to tell them for the last 5 years. Own the accountability for your own failures as the media. That's how we rebuild trust in this country. And until then, I don't have a lot of patience to play the games.
What do you expect from?
Oh, God, that's beautiful. And listen to the applause. Listen to the applause from the people there. That was just absolutely chef's kiss, beautiful and perfect. I don't think he's using the term catechism quite right, but I'm going to give him a pass on that. Okay. It's great. It's great. It's absolutely great. And he's 100% right. That is because will you condemn white supremacy? Well, I condemn all vicious racial discrimination. Headline the next day, Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy. This is all they care about. And they want to make sure that they drive the narrative of the campaign instead of the candidates. They're not reporters. They're not reporters. They're activists trying to help their candidate of choice. And by the way, he just said, I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do. Okay, well, let's prove exactly what he was talking about. Here's the reporter from the Washington Post, Meryl Cornfield. And she does exactly what Vivek predicted she would do. She goes to Twitter. She goes to X. I asked Vivek if he condemned white supremacy. And he said, stop picking on this farce of some figment that exists at some he's making this whole thing. Vivek doesn't think that white supremacy exists. He doesn't believe in white supremacy. But here's the real power of what Vivek did. Yes, she put this on X, this Meryl Cornfield reporter, okay? By the way, not for nothing, I don't know much about her, but I do like the fact that she has been assigned to cover the Iowa caucus and her last name is Cornfield. That's pretty cool. Okay. So Vivek calls her out. Says, I know what you're going to do. You're going to write this headline. Go ahead and do it. But the American people see through it. We're done with your games, right? So she goes to X. She puts it out there. But check this out, guys. Here's her byline over at the Washington Post. This is all the articles that she's written recently and a very nice shoe ad, by the way. Guess you know where I browse now in my free time. I'm looking for clothes. Look at her headlines. She's got an article from January 1st about Nikki Haley. She's got December 3rd. But from yesterday, all she's got, she didn't have anything. She's got an update here on the Iowa caucuses, but it's an article that is lumped together with a ton of other updates from the campaign, as you can see here. So he preempted her. He preempted her from doing that. She didn't write the story because he called her out on her ahead of time. I like his style. I like when he does this. Yes, I know he's imperfect. For God's sake, he's 36 years old. He's never run for office before. But when he goes after the media, when he can reach out to people at a town hall who try to challenge him on transgender issues, and he can actually articulate the position very well with compassion, but firmly, I like it. What's not to like?